Have you ever wanted to remove yourself from the day-to-day in your agency? Automating your agency will get you there. For those of you who are new here, we have a lot of different videos on this channel going over different examples of use cases of automation, but this video is a bit different. I'll be breaking down how you can get started on automating your agency and the correct framework you need to follow to do this properly. I guarantee this video will change the way you think about automation and the different ways you should be using it in your agency. Automating my agency has been one of the best things I've done, and after working with marketing agencies all around the world, systemizing and automating different aspects of the agency work, I've personally seen the impact is out of both of my partners' business and personal lives. My whole aim of this video is to give you the frameworks you need to get started on your automation journey, so you don't have to worry about me trying to sell you anything or hide any information from you guys. I'm an open book, and today specifically we're going to be talking about the frameworks you need to automate your agency, what tools to use to actually do this, and how to actually use these tools to make your life easier. These are the exact frameworks we use in our agency when helping new partners or training new team members, so make sure to stop whatever it is you're doing and pay attention, because the amount of value what to drop is crazy.
Alright guys, so we're going to be talking about the frameworks, the tools, and how to actually use these tools to actually automate your agency. Now, the first thing we're going to touch on is the frameworks, and I'm literally going to be showing you the actual frameworks we use to create. These are literally the exact same ones that we use when working with our own systems or even our partner systems, so extremely valuable as always. Let's get straight into it. The reason we actually do this is perfectly summarized by this quote right here. Automation applied to an efficient operation will do nothing but magnify the actual inefficiency. But there's kind of two main reasons why we need to do it first. Firstly, optimization. Secondly, is time savings. In terms of optimization, as you're mapping out these kind of processes, it gives you a chance to actually spot any errors and think of different ways you can actually improve this to supercharge your existing processes and take it to the next level. Secondly, is time savings. So if you create a great system from the jump, it will save you a lot of time having to redo the entire automation 2-3 months down the line when you realize it's actually not that good and it can't really be useful within your specific systems. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about how to actually do this. So we have a 4-step process, and I've also included some pro tips here. But let's start with the first step, which is actually acting it out. Now, guys, this is quite simple. You don't have to put A-class performance. You're going for Oscar right now. You basically just want to have a mental rundown of what you're actually doing in that specific system. So, for example, if you're doing onboarding, act out the onboarding in your head. Now, when I do this, I like to take some notes. You don't have to do this because we're going to be doing that in the second section. But just basically run through it in your head. If you do have a team player with you or anyone you can kind of act it out with, one person being a client, another person being a team member, just for example, it will be much more useful, but it's not necessary. Once you've done that, you'll be able to have an idea, at least in your head, of how you want to carry out a certain process, move on to the next step, which is actually writing it down. I have one example here of what you can do. And this, guys, is literally as simple as it gets. So for all the different processes you have, like onboarding, fulfillment, sales, content creation, client success, you basically want to have kind of rundown of what you do. So for example, I do this, then I do that. Before I do that, I do this, then Jimmy does this. Now, just a heads up, this can be quite time consuming. So if you want to do it separately for each process, then go back and do the whole process again for a different process like content creation, for example, then be my guest. But it will take some time, especially if you want to do it properly. The reason we do this first is because they will make this much easier, trust me, because in your head, you already have an idea of the different things you do. When you acted it out, it gives you a chance to really remember everything that you do. So we've acted out, we've actually written down. Now it's time to move for the second step, which is actually put in a sequence. Now, this is literally as simple as it is. You can do something like this on Figma. You can use any other whiteboard tool like Miro. There's a ton of different things. In all honesty, they basically all do the same thing, and they're not that complicated to use. But it's basically just a step-by-step guide of what happens in a sequence. So, for example, if you're doing onboarding, the start will be start of the onboarding, and then after that, it'll be okay. First you do this, then you do that. Quite obviously, you're going to take heavy inspiration from what you just wrote down in the previous step within that Google document or wherever it is that you put it. And you just want to make a sequence of everything that happens. Sometimes you will have it split, whereas it's like something like this. This is basically conditional, whereas if this condition goes, it goes this way, and if not, it'll go straight down. So far, we've acted out, written down exactly what we do for that SOP and put it together in a sequence. But there's one more thing you need to actually make this a useful SOP, and that's setting up the frequency. Now, there's two different types of frequencies. So a trigger is when the certain task gets triggered. Now, for example, onboarding, this could be when you receive an invoice through Stripe or you receive the payment through Stripe. For sales, this can be when a call is booked. These are kind of specific scenarios that happen that will initiate the process. The second way we have how often, which is what you would use if you have something that happens on a regular schedule. So, for example, if every day at 9 a.m. you're doing this process, then you put the frequency as every day. If once a month you're doing this, then you put the frequency as once a month. I'm going to be showing you how to do both of these when building out automations, but they're a very, very important part of kind of establishing frameworks because it does give an indication of how often that framework actually happens. Now, I've got two quick pro tips. Firstly, is color code your stuff. There's different ways you can color code your actual kind of sequences, but the way we usually do it is by team members. So if a client needs to do this, I'll label a specific color. If one of my team members need to do it, then I'll label a specific color. If I need to do it, I'll label a specific color. This once again is to make it as easy as possible for me to understand and everyone else to understand specifically what they need to do. The second step is adding the relevant software to each process. The best way to explain this is to actually show you. As you can see here, for each one of these steps, on the left-hand side, I added the actual software which is necessary to perform the specific action. I would suggest recommending doing this for your specific sequence because it will make your life a lot easier when you go to automating things. This is a pro tip, it's not 100% necessary. I'll just give you a live example now. Let's say step 3 requires Zapier because it's invoicing of some sort. You simply get the Stripe logo and you put it right there. Super, super simple, guys. But I promise you this will make your life easier in the next step when we actually go through how to actually create the different automations. So you now have the tools to actually create a different framework for the different processes that you'll need to actually automate your agency. If you want, you can literally pause this video right now, do this and come back to it. I always recommend start with onboarding because it's probably the easiest thing to actually automate. If you want a specific example on how to actually automate your onboarding, you can check out this video right here in the top right hand corner. But just getting back to this, you've now got a framework nailed down. So let's talk about the tools you actually need to carry this out. So the first thing you're going to need is an automation tool, especially if you don't have any experience with APIs. There are a ton of different no-code tools when it comes to automations, but the two main ones are Zapier and Make. Now, there is a big discussion about which one of these is better, but honestly, guys, it doesn't really matter which one you want. We use both depending on specific case scenarios. It just depends on what you prefer. They're fairly similar prices as well. I think Zapier is a bit more expensive, but I'll say it's probably a bit easier to handle. So yeah, choose whatever platform you want. It doesn't really matter. The kind of frameworks we're following here can be applied to both. Another optional thing you can add once you've chosen your platform is some sort of automation hub. This is basically so we have a CRM, project management, and task kind of center all together in one hub. For this, you can use Notion, Smart Suite, or ClickUp. Now, once again, guys, this is 100% optional. It's not necessary, but we found it does make your life a lot easier when it comes to automations because you're not having to pull information from a ton of different softwares and finding different ways to link together. You can use platforms like these to put it all together in one place. All right, guys, I know I'm whizzing through this, but I want to get straight to the actual value part of this video and the live tutorials, which is where we'll be going over how to actually automate your agency. So once you've chosen your actual no-code platform, it's time to move over how to actually use it. So there's a ton of different tutorials on YouTube, specifically even on our channel if you want to check it out, on different ways you can actually automate your agency and a ton of different examples of specific automations you can use. But I'm going to be using this as a beginner guide to show you how to actually use Zapier. Now, like I said, these two aren't too different in terms of the actual frameworks they use to create automation. So you can apply the same process to whatever no-code platform you're actually using. I'm going to be showing you how to use Zapier from start to finish, literally a complete guide, just to make your life as simple as possible to make sure you can get started on your automation journey. As I'm giving a lot of value away in this video, I've literally given you the exact same process we use in our agency and all our partners to actually automate different aspects of their agencies. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and smash that like button. I guarantee there's no one else on YouTube in our space giving away this much value for free and not asking for anything in return. Let's go into how you can actually use Zapier to automate your agency. So guys, the first thing you want to do is go over to Zapier.com and actually sign up for a free account. They do have a 14-day free trial of all the premium features. So you can always play around with it, set up some free automations, and if you don't like after the 14 days, you can just cancel. I don't have any affiliation to them or anything like that, so just head over to Zapier.com and sign up. And this is probably the easiest thing you can do this tutorial. So pause the video and go ahead and do that. All right, guys, once you're signed in, it should look something like this. I'm currently on the account I use for YouTube. You obviously want to have all of these, but that's just because I've used the account before. Now, guys, because we already created a specific process and sequence that we're going to be automating, the first thing we actually want to do is connect the different platforms that we're going to be using specifically on our automation. If you follow all my steps, it's super, super simple. All you want to do is head up to your sequence and look at the different softwares that you're actually using. So let's say we want to connect Stripe. All you want to do is go back to Zapier, head over to this app section, search for app, search for your specific app. So in this case, it'll be Stripe. Open this up, and all you want to do is press connect and actually add your Stripe connection. I'll pop up all up here where you can just add your information. Repeat this process for all the different things you need to use within your automation. So like Calendly, for example, simply search for it and just add a new connection. Now, guys, for most things, it's as simple as signing in. But when it comes to a thing like ChatGPT, you might find specific API tokens. I've got a couple of tutorials on how to get ChatGPT to Zapier. But if you ever encounter any troubles with any different apps that I don't personally have tutorials on, you can just search it up on Google or even ChatGPT and it'll give you an answer straight away. All right, guys, well, listen, now that we've actually connected our apps, it's time to actually start creating automations. So we're going to go back to our Zap section right here, and you're going to just press the little button here to create the automation, and you press Use That. And you can name it whatever you want for your specific case scenario. Let's say we'll do onboarding, you name it onboarding. So guys, the first step of any automation is always the trigger, which is why I made it a point to set up a trigger or at least a frequency for your specific systems or processes, I should say, when building out your frameworks. And like I said, there's two different types of triggers. I'll be showing you how you can do both. So firstly, for the frequency trigger, which is something that you usually schedule, what you're going to do is go over here, press the trigger button, and then search for the schedule app, Schedule by Zapier. And here you can see you have different options. You can do every day, every hour, every month, every week, a ton of different options. Just pick the one that's suitable to you. So if you want to do it once a month, you can go every month. You can choose a specific day of the month. So let's say you want to do it on the 2nd, and you can also choose the time of day you actually want this action to run. And just like that, this specific system will trigger once every month. Now, if you're going to do it for the trigger, it's a bit more complicated. You need to figure out the specific trigger on the app. So for example, if we're going to do a new payment on Stripe, we're going to simply change this to your specific thing. So in this example, it would be Stripe. And you're going to look for your specific trigger. So this can be something like a cancel subscription, but in this example, it was a new payment. So we scroll down, find a new payment, and that will actually be your trigger. Once you've connected your account, you're set up, and now every single time a new payment comes in, this automation will trigger and run through that specific system, allowing you to automate different aspects of your agency. Now that I've shown you two examples for two different triggers, let's talk about the actual actions in the app. These are basically the specific steps in your sequence. Now, guys, you won't be able to automate everything from the jump, especially if it's your first time using automations or anything like this. So I'd recommend just starting off doing as much as you can. A fun way to do this is actually labeling the boxes green if you can automate them, and red if it's something you can't do right now. In reality, there's not much you can't automate, but I will admit it does get harder when you're trying to do specific things that are not already preset for you. Tools like Zapier and Make are really, really good, and you can probably do 70% of the things you need to do on these platforms without too much of a struggle. The key here is not to push yourself too much because you can end up downward spiral if you just spend too much trying to set something up which is a bit more too complicated for your own skill level at the moment. Not to say you can improve in the future. So I've gone through my list and I've kind of defined all the things that I can automate and I can't automate. And guys, the simplest way to do this is just play around with it. If you're in Zapier and you want to do a specific action, look for your specific app, look for the action you want to do. If it's the action not there, just simply put it as you can't automate, and you can always come back to it in the future when you set up the initial automations. Like I said, guys, I don't want to go into too much detail here because the whole aim of this is to get you started on your automation journey. But if you ever have any questions about anything, feel free to drop a comment. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Now that you've established all the things you want to automate, you actually want to automate the things that you said you could automate. And this sequence diagram will make your life so easy, giving you a clear kind of process of all the things you need to do. Now, a key thing I will mention when building out different automations is the importance of actually testing each automation you build out. So as I'm going through each one of these steps, adding all the information, and stuff like that, I'm always testing each individual step to make sure if anything's wrong, I can spot the error from the start and fix it. Trust me, guys, I've been down the road of not testing your thing and at the end having an error and you can't really figure out what the issue is. It's a lot easier if you just test it straight from the start and will save you a lot of headache. And that's from experience building up thousands of stuff just like this. Like I said, guys, there's a ton of different tutorials on YouTube, even on our channel of specific automations. If you do want someone to hold your hand through stuff like onboarding or different sales automations, just check out this playlist right here. In this video, I don't have a specific example to show you. I'm trying to give you the frameworks that we use when actually building out these automations. As soon as you finish one of these processes, like onboarding, it's time to move on to the next one and literally just rinse and repeat the process. This framework right here allows you to automate your agency. And the only reason it can do that is because the way everything is laid out, it works. And it's all built to allow you to realize potential flaws in your systems, optimize them to make them ready for automation. And then, even before you go into automation, you have a clear step-by-step guide on how you're going to do it, making your life so much easier when it comes to building out the different automations. And that's pretty much it, guys. I've gone over the frameworks you need to use before setting up the automations and how you can set them up, the tools you can use to actually automate your agency, and how to use these tools to the best of your ability to literally automate your agency and save you hundreds of hours every single month, with the additional benefit of allowing yourself to be removed from your agency. If you want more information, like I said, the first thing you need to do is go on YouTube. On our channel, we have over 100 different videos going over different examples of automations you can use in your agency. If you watch up to this point, you're probably interested in how you can use automation in your agencies. Check out Agency's Guide to Automation. There we have 4 different tools you can actually use to automate your agency, from interactive checklist and savers, estimator, interactive automation experience, which literally gives you 5 completely custom automations based on your specific needs and a step-by-step guide on how to actually build them out. And 2 different bonuses, but I don't want to go too much into that. If you want to check that out, check out the first link in the description. As always, it's 100% free. The whole aim of this is to release as many tools as possible for you guys to get you started on your automation journey. While you're here, you might as well subscribe to the newsletter. We go a bit more in depth than the YouTube, and every single week you get an inbox of different ways you can use automation in your agency and some cool updates that's going on in the AI industry. Now, if you really want to automate your agency and want to work with us, you can check out the third link in the description for a breakdown of what we do and how we can actually save you $100 a month with a scalable system that allows you to take on more clients without ruining your service delivery or profit margins, guaranteed. Just a heads up, this is not for everyone, and we do say no to about 70% of all applications. But if you think we can help you out and you're just a bit more interested in what you can do, check out the third link in the description. There's a video there breaking down exactly how we can actually help you guys. That's it from me, guys. I'm sure this video was valuable. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. And like I said, halfway through the video, if you have any questions about any of this, please do drop a comment below. We literally respond to every single comment. If you go through all of our videos, not a single comment we ever responded to. And in all honesty, because it's such a small channel right now, you have the additional perk of having our full attention. So if you have any questions, drop a comment below. You'd be surprised at how much of a detailed answer we can actually give you completely for free. I hope you enjoyed this video and you actually implement all the stuff I talked about in this video to actually automate your agency, because I guarantee it can be one of the best things you can actually do for both your business lives and your personal life. As always, it's been a pleasure actually helping you guys out, and I'll catch you in the next one. All the different processes and systems in your business